Assalamu alaikum, viewers and listeners. Here we are with the third episode of our program, The Messiah Files in English. And the episode will be presented by our Honorable Syed Mujtaba Shah. I'll hand over to you, Shasa, without any late. Please go ahead and present your third episode. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's my honor. It's my honor. It's not honorable. I'm not honorable, but thank you so much, Sheikh Saab, for
You
that. I appreciate.
are correct.
I'm surrounded by really learned people. I'm really lucky for that. And Alhamdulillah, we have completed two episodes and answered your questions in our Q&A. And we are continuously receiving feedback on the episodes we've had. This is the third episode. Now it will start to get more into shape, where you can see today we'll be talking about messianic claimants, and I'll mention to you what we are going to be doing in the next episodes at the end of this episode. So please stay tuned. I'm just going to turn my camera off and start my presentation. So thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
attention this evening. It's going to be a little longer, but inshallah it will be productive.
Thank you so much.
So let's start with the episode's title, Beware of the False Ones. Now, what basically this means will be revealed in a couple of minutes down the line in our presentation. But before that, I'd like to do a short recap of the first two episodes we've done. It's not exhaustive, it's not detailed, but overview is we have looked into how evidence should equal to the claim. So when you are claiming something, you should provide evidence that should be equal to the claim. And always we should investigate. We should never give up this important aspect of our life in anything. We should never take things for granted, especially in the world we live in. There are a lot of scams, people lie all the time. So we must be vigilant. And beware of scams, especially in faith, because the faith based scams are heinous. They affect generations and it takes away your akhirah, puts you in a path of destruction in this dunya, and you lose opportunity of reaching out to Allah the way it should be. And this is what we are trying to educate people against. Then again, we have looked into in the last episode, we've seen how two parts of our brains work, which is the limbic system as well as the neocortex, which is the emotional side and the rational side. So if you have not watched that, please do watch it. There are a lot of scientific things in that as well as practical things. So you should use your emotional side and rational side in a balance. And we are hoping and praying that you use your rational side when you're seeing our presentations. Let's begin. So I'm going to start with logic first. And end of time prophecies, we know this. Everybody has heard about the Mahdi, Imam Mahdi, or whatever. But is it only found in our culture? So we know about Al Mahdi, we know about the Isa ibn Maryam, and we also know about a few others, such as the Kalki, Vishnu Avatar, the Krishna coming back, and the Maitri Buddha, and so on. And then there's one in Portugal. In Portugal, yes. What about UK? There is one in UK, in Great Britain, in France, in Germany, in Mongolia, in China, in South America, in Africa, in North America, in Japan and Korea, in oceanic countries such as New Zealand and Australia. So the end of time prophecies are not only limited to us and our region, but it's found all over the world. So basically, if you're looking at it, in Middle East, it's Mahdi, Messiah for Christians, and for Jews, it's Mashiach and Jesus as well. Kalki and Maitri, as I said to you, in East Asia, True King, Morocco. In Europe, Christ is coming, obviously, that's the Christian thing. King Arthur, if you're interested in Vikings, the Ragnarok, there's a renewal, he's going to come. In Africa, Shaka Zulu, all of that. And in the Americas, quite a few of them. Some of them I really cannot even pronounce. And in oceanic areas, they have some ancestors who are going to come back, and a whole list of people who are coming back. And this is common around the world. Why it is common? We have done a bit of research. Not going to cover it today because of time, but it's very interesting to see why people have prophesied these things. Now, all these prophecies are contingent on certain things. Uh, they have been specified to happen at certain time. It just does not happen randomly. It will happen at a certain time. The time has not been specified or clearly mentioned when. This is for Muslims enough to know that Allah has chosen that time. And who's coming? It's been very clear. Who's coming by name? There's an identification of it. Place has already been given, like in our case, Damascus and so on. What the person is coming to do certain things, right? It's just not coming for no reason. They're coming for something. So in most cases, it's battle against evil. So there is a physical fight. It's not a PlayStation fight, or it's not a virtual fight, or it's not a debate. It's going to be a real hardcore fight. For what? For restoration of justice. And then the result will be there will be peace on earth. So after the person has come, the fight has happened, and that was because evil was prevalent. Now the evil will be defeated and the earth will be peaceful. And that's virtually in every single prophecy. Interestingly enough, the Semitic faiths, which is the Abrahamic faiths, in Islam, the personalities and the persons and the titles are all very, very specific. So please do not get confused. We are waiting for Hazrat Isa ibn Maryam, according to the Hadith, Hazrat Isa ibn Maryam. And Al Mahdi is a title, and the name is, as the Prophet ﷺ said, is going to be named after the Prophet ﷺ, similar to his name, and the father's name will be similar, which is Muhammad bin Abdullah. In Christianity, Jesus, son of Mary, is expected back. That's what their prophecies stipulate. And Judaism is Mashiach. So we will talk about this in a little bit as well. But before that, let's get into this common aspect of waiting for the Messiah. Well, Muslims are not waiting for a Messiah. We're not waiting for anyone, to be honest. But if we were, would you have not found a situation like this? People queuing up at airports, bus stops, I don't know, all these places, just waiting for a Messiah to show up. And whenever a person walks down or just walks in, they say, oh, Messiah is here. And then everybody goes into a happy mode. No, it doesn't happen this way. The simple reason is, if someone has been told to come, doesn't mean you should be waiting for that person. There's no such thing as waiting for that person. There's two things, right? There's something has been told will happen, but you're not supposed to wait for it. Imagine we've been told we're going to die. Everyone knows that. The person who is born will die. This is fact of life, and no one can deny it. Even atheists cannot deny it. People will die. And death is inevitable. But does that mean we'll run into a train just because we think we are waiting for death? Nobody does that. In fact, we will run away from the danger. And that's because we are not waiting for death. Death will happen when it is ordained to happen. Similarly, the Messiah will come when Allah has ordained him to come. We are not going to run into a person and say, oh, excuse me, are you Mahdi? Can I believe in you today? We don't do that. And why we don't do that is because there is a fulfillment checklist. We just talked about that. There's a time at which time Allah has chosen. We have no idea. Place, the place has been mentioned explicitly sometimes. The person has been mentioned with name and reference. The method of arrival has been said. The action the person will take after arriving has been said, and there is a result. In Isaiah, in the book, there is the stomp of Jesse. You can check it out. The tiger will drink water next to, I think, a goat, and they'll not have any problems. There'll be harmony, peace. I mean, similar stories. People are talking about that virtually in every single prophecy, that the prophecy says that when the action has been taken, there will be peace on earth. And this is very important, because when a person is supposed to come, they're supposed to carry out a job, a certain task Allah has given them. Now, that task will result in a sort of a situation like this. Now, let me tell you the prophecy. This isn't exactly the hadith in all of it, but this is just a summary of it. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said to us that Isa ibn Maryam, and he has said very definitively, Ibn Maryam, the son of Mary, will descend amongst you. Now, the 3 points that you need to take from here, that the person's name and the mother's name is given, descent is being given, that the mode of arrival is given, it's a descent, because if you know Allah has rafi'uka, Allah has raised him, so there is a descent. So it compares together, right? Amongst you. Now, amongst you, it means the Muslims. It does not mean us. It does not necessarily mean us, right? Now, once this is the hadith, it becomes a be informed part of the hadith. That the instruction is be informed, Isa is coming. Why is it important? Because this is the era of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which is the Akhir Nabi, Akhir Rasul. There's no one after him. So this is a protocol that he is informing that there is another one who has been raised is coming. And this is correct. We will talk about that later. This is the right procedure. Um, Now, also, in addition to this half portion, there's another half portion called beware. Rasulullah Sallam has warned us that false prophets or imposters will also come. They will also come and they will claim to be. Now, we need to know both of them in the same context. So the inform part is name, place, method, action, and result. We know this. And the beware is it makes it mandatory, it makes it necessary for us to check and double check and triple check because it's part of the instruction package. You've been told he's coming, but you must double sure that the person you are believing in has to meet the criteria. Now, what has happened is people are just, oh, he claimed to be Messiah. Oh, how do you know that? Oh, well, where's the Messiah word from? No, he had a dream. Okay, God spoke with him. All of those things. This is not called prudence. It's not called due diligence. We need to be more respectful of the instructions given to us. Let's move forward quickly. And let's imagine this scenario where school has just ended and there's a security guard at the gate. And of course, you know, this is a sensitive place. People are concerned about all kinds of things, kids and so on. So there are a lot of regulations. The security guard has been given a specific instruction. Umar, the father of Hafsa, will pick up Hafsa. Now, in this particular case, this is Umar and that's Hafsa. Now, it's very specific. Umar is the father of Hafsa and Hafsa is the daughter of Umar. Now, if the instruction was given and was ignored from the standpoint of who the father is, and if the focus was only on the father, then all of the other people are also fathers, which means the girl Hafsa can go with virtually any father as long as it's the father. But the instruction is not about father, it's about Umar, the father of Hafsa. Now, if you just focus on father itself, that becomes general. And that's not how the instruction works. Would you imagine a school where any kid can go with any parent? It doesn't work that way. This is practical of life. When we see these things, we also know that the hadith cannot be that vague. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never spoke vaguely. He has been very explicit when it comes to commands. And this command was about Ibn Maryam. Now let's move forward. The false messiahs. This is what we're going to talk about. To do that, we are just looking into the example of pyramids. If you have seen these are in Egypt, Giza. I've been here. It's amazing, phenomenal, something really amazing to look at. Now, these are built by rocks. Now, this may not give you the entire impression of how amazing this thing really is. So there's another picture of it. You can find the rocks over here. Next to that, there are horses, people, and a camel as well here, if you could look at it closely. You can compare the size of a camel next to a rock. You can see how big of this thing really is. Now, the pyramid itself is a very important illustration of a fact that these are also found in China. Yes, exact same thing. And they're also found in Europe. Exact same thing. In fact, they are found in South America. They're found in Korea. I have personally visited the one in Korea. Not as big, obviously, but it's still a tomb. And the purpose is the same. And they found virtually everywhere. Now, when you see a phenomenon that appears in multiple places, you know that there's a logical explanation behind it, and it's man made. So there is a human related factor in that. You cannot say a UFO ship had landed and done all of that. So it's very specific. And when we look at this as a human driven thing and it's found all over the world, it's a common phenomenon that's happening worldwide in different places, different cultures. So there must be common factors. And that's what we need to focus on. Just like the pyramids are a phenomenon that can be explained, and they're found in a variety of places and cultures and times, the Messiah complex is also such a phenomenon. It's found worldwide in many cultures, and it is usually found in times of human struggles and hope, and it's also explainable and it's also human. When we look at the Messiah complex, I have to explain that part to you, the Messiah complex. Let's imagine two telephones, two mobile phones. One is older generation one and a smartphone. And technologically, the smartphone is more superior, and the older one is inferior. Of course, there's no GPS. There's no camera. There's perhaps not a strong camera, and so on. So the technology of the phone, let's assume that this is of a higher grade, and so it's more superior. And this is a fact. So the superiority of this phone here is established fact. Now, let's imagine this scenario in an office, two people working in the same department, same position, same rank, everything is the same, but one person feels more superior than the other. Now, this is not a fact because they are not unequal, they are equal. The person who feels superior is feeling superior only because of the psychological aspect. Nothing physical is present to make him superior. Similarly, the other person can be in a position of feeling inferior. That's inferiority. And that again is the psychological aspect that has nothing to do with reality. They feel inferior for their own reasons, but no such reality exists where they should be inferior. Now, to look at this, let's compare the following: superiority or inferiority complex, they are part of a psychological pattern. And superiority complex when someone feels they are better, smarter, or more important than anyone else. And this is because they have been raised in a certain way, their experiences, their upbringing, personality, all of those factors. Not getting into that now, but just for you to know, the word complex means it's a psychological phenomenon and it is not a fact. So the person who claims to be superior is not necessarily superior. They're not able to do superhuman things. They're not intelligent. They are not in any way better, but they feel that. We have looked at this in the example of Shaitan in the past, in the last episode, where he says, I'm better than him when there is no such proof. Then again, if we look at the complex in Messiah or the messianic complex, we'll see that the complex again is a reflection of a psychological pattern, which means a person believes that they are chosen by God, by destiny, fate to save people or whatever they believe in. And again, this is an experience, personality, upbringing thing. This is how they were raised, the factors that go in that. That's the cause. And again, this is not real. This is not a fact. This is again just the phenomenon that's in the brain of the person. There's no such reality. So it's important now to distinguish between two things: the Messiah complex and the Messiah. The Messiah is an actual religious title with divine validation. So if you see Messiah, the word Messiah in Christianity, the word Messiah in Jewish traditions, and we have the Masih in our culture and religion, so that's a title. Whereas the Messiah complex, which is a psychological condition where an individual thinks that they are on a divine mission without any divine legitimacy, psychological phenomenon. It's and they do it because they have the opportunity to do it. This is very important. We need to consider this and move forward. So I hope this becomes very clear to us about the Messiah complex versus um, the Messiah itself. Okay, let's carry forward. We will try to be more quick here. The Messiah complex is the I'm the chosen one, I've been sent. So now, as we discussed, superiority and inferiority complex, Messiah complex is kicking in. The person feels I'm the one sent, I'm responsible, I'm going to take care of these people. All of these feelings start to develop. Are they artificial, man-made, whatever? We'll talk about them. But now, just focus on the fact that they are claiming to be the chosen one. Now, this happens, as I told you, in variety of times in cultures in the past and so on. It's happened. So only I can save the people. I'm the revolutionary. I'm the father of the nation, the great leader, the liberator, the visionary, whatever. I mean, there are hundreds of things that they call, but they are always the one who's chosen. Yeah. So this is important for us to understand. And this is because they have grandiosity, which is I alone can fix this. It's part of superiority complex. We'll talk about this later. In the beginning episodes, we've talked about the narcissistic personality. So this is part of that spectrum. And sense of destiny, they say, well, I've been chosen, chosen by history, by God. And this is, they genuinely believe that. And with time, it becomes more and more cemented, and they believe this as they go along, it becomes more solidified. Now, in the Messiah complex, it's found virtually in every single area, like social, religious, political. I mean, I'm the guy who's supposed to liberate the people, whatever. In religious, that's what we are focusing on. They invoke Mahdi, Christ, and so on. And this is what we are focusing on. We're not focusing on the political or the social aspect of it. So the Messiah complex, again, let's summarize this. It's a term of psychology. It's not religious. Messiah complex is not religious. Please remember that. It can also be applied to political. And it refers to a delusional belief. This is a delusional belief. It's nothing reality in there. They just start believing that there's a role given to them by destiny, fate, whatever. And it's a grandiosity based image of self, where you feel, okay, I am ahead of everyone, I am better than everyone, I was chosen, God spoke to me, all of that. And then they have a strong belief that they're on a mission. Now, some people believe, some fake. We will talk about that as well. And it's like cult leaders, they do this. You'll find them like very charismatic, getting into all trance and you know all kinds of energy states and everything else. And they're self-proclaimed. They have no mission other than their own that they have created. And again, as I mentioned, it's not related to religion only. You can find this in maybe companies, CEOs. I can quote some examples, but not polite. I guess we don't want to do that. So we will continue now. We talked about the Messiah complex. Now we'll talk about the Messiah. So obviously, we're going to look into the Messiah from the standpoint of our religion, and by extension, the Semitic traditions, which is Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. So the Messiah, the word Messiah, in Islam, it is Al-Masih, and it is very specifically Al-Masih. There's no Messiah, as I mentioned to you earlier. In Christianity, the word Messiah exists, and in Judaism, it's Mashiach, and so this is common. Whereas in Christianity and Islam, when the word Masih or Messiah is used, it is only for Hazrat Isa ibn Maryam. Exclusively, there's no one else. So this must not be confusing. It is a very established fact, clear as a light of day, that when Allah says in the Quran, Al Masih, Allah has referred to and mentioned by name Hazrat Isa ibn Maryam. Christianity, Messiah means the Christ or Jesus Christ. In Judaism, however, the title itself has been given to King David, Cyrus the Great, and the person who's coming in the future. They all are called the Mashiach, the Messiah. So this has to be very clear, and we don't need to get confused over a simple thing like Messiah. There is no such thing as a Messiah. In Islam, is only Al-Masih, and that is Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. Now, the prophecies are about persons and about titles. So the person is Hazrat Isa ibn Maryam, the title is Al-Masih, and Al-Mahdi is a title, and the person is Muhammad bin Abdullah from the progeny of Hazrat Fatima. And this is very clearly mentioned. We don't need to get confused over these small things. They are very simple to understand that Al-Masih is Hazrat Isa ibn Maryam, very clearly established. There is no person mentioned in the Quran or in a hadith that person is a Masih. Only one person, Masih and Isa ibn Maryam. That's one person and the title and the name. And Al Mahdi is also a title, and the person is Muhammad bin Abdullah, and the hadith is there for that. Now, the prophecies, the general prophecies I'm talking about now, they are divided into three manners in which these persons will come, the end of time persons. There's one return and reappearance, which basically means if I have left the room and I came back into the room, that's reappearance, me coming back as myself. I am coming back in my own body and I'm the same person and I've returned back. So the same person comes again, that's return and reappearance. Hopefully that's clear. New arrival means a person who's born is going to appear. That person was not there before. So any person who's born and shows himself up to be part of the prophecy, that person is a newborn person, new arrival. And there's another concept of reincarnated, which means the person existed, died, his soul is now coming back on earth, entering body of another person, and that new person will have two souls. I'm not sure how that works, but that's essentially the idea. In this particular case, Hazrat Isa, he is going to return. The prophecy is about Hazrat Isa descending. Prophet ﷺ's hadith is clear on this point. Elijah in Judaism and Christianity is also returning, the same person. The hidden Imam in Shia, the Al Mahdi, he will make a Zahur, he will come back. So that person is born, is returning. In the new arrival section, you find Al Mahdi for us, that Al Mahdi will be born and reveal himself. In Messiah, in Judaism, that person we talked about, the King David and the others, the third person will be born and reveal himself, is not a person returning. Maitri, Buddha, Sushanta, these are all people who are born and they will be revealed. Now, it's not a person coming back, which means the Buddha that has gone in the past is not coming back. It's not the same Buddha. Gautama Buddha is not the same person. So please remember that. In the reincarnated section, you only find Krishna, and that is a Hinduistic belief, which is paganistic belief rather, and it's only found in such religions. It's not found in any Abrahamic tradition. In Abrahamic tradition, the Semitic religions, there's no concept of a soul returning on earth and getting in the body of another person. These are all misconceptions our ancestors have given us in various forms or shapes, from folklore to ghost stories and what have you, and it has taken root, and we start believing this. In Islam, there is nothing of that sort. Person who has left the earth has gone. There is no concept of any soul begging Allah to go back to earth and Allah sending the soul back. This concept does not exist in Islam. Please remember this. We will move forward to some important notes. In the Quran, there is no word called Messiah. We have Al Masih, we talked about that. Muslims do not have the concept of Messiah because there is no concept of Messiah, because there is no word of Messiah. We have a word of Masih. Muslims are not waiting for a Messiah. We are not waiting for a Messiah. We don't need to wait. Why are we waiting for anyone? Allah wants to send, Allah will send. No Messiah has been promised in Islam. Masih ibn Maryam has been promised, will descend. So, two different things. They sound similar, but they're not. So, I'm going to again rephrase this in a simplistic way that you understand. There is no promised Messiah in Islam. There is no promised Messiah in Islam. In Islam, the Masih is promised. The Masih is promised. Messiah is not promised in Islam. And this Masih is Hazrat Isa ibn Maryam in Islam. Explicitly, full stop, period. No discussion, no ifs, buts in this. It's very clear. If you need to understand this, contact us. We are more than happy to spend some time explaining this to you. There are tons of streams who have done coverage on this point. Please review it if you are in doubt. It's a simple matter of faith. Please don't confuse yourself. Let's look at the exhaustive list of people we talked about in various traditions. Al Mahdi in Islam is arrival newborn, so he will be born and reveal himself. Hidden Imam in Al Mahdi, 12 Shia, is returning of the same person, so it's the person's already born, will be coming back. Isa ibn Maryam, alayhi salam, will be returning as the same person in the same body. He will not be born again. Hazrat Isa will not be born from any mother or any sort of things. We believe as per the Quran and Ahadith, he will return in his exact body that Allah has raised him with. And in Christianity is also return of the same person. The Messiah in Judaism, since Judaism is essentially, there is a title, we were talking about that. So he will be returning as an arrival. So that person is born and then line of David and so on. So it's all there. Krishna, we talked about, that's a little complicated. Is the last incarnation of Vishnu. So will be born, the same soul will enter another body. I mean, there's full prophecy on that. If you want to look at it, you can. Buddha, again, as I told you, is an arrival, is a newborn. So the list is there. So it's majority of them are very, very clear, exception of the Krishna part. Everything is very well laid out, arrival and return. Return means same person coming back. Now, these ones highlighted in the red are also claimed by people. Some people have claimed to be King Arthur, Sushanta, this is all there. I have a list. If you need, just comment, we'll share it with you. Hazrat Isa and Jesus in Christianity, these are the most popular claims. Is the iPhone Pro Max. This is the most sought after, most in-demand product. Virtually everyone's claiming this. And this is very interesting as well. So I'm a Messiah, I'm a Mahdi. Let's look at that now. Before that, I talked about earlier that there is a warning given to us. And this warning exists in all Semitic traditions, including Judaism, which I've not listed here. And I've only covered the Muslims and the Christian faith here. And that's because we're talking about them. So the Muslim there's a hadith very clear about that there will be Dajjal's liars who will be coming and claiming to be prophet. It's there, you can check it. In Christianity, very very clear. For many will come in my name, claiming I am He, and the time is near. Do not follow them. I mean, all the prophets are warning about this very clearly. Beware, beware, beware. There's going to be a liar who's going to show up, who's going to call himself as me. So it puts more pressure on people like us. If we need to be certain of something, we need to check, right? We talked about that. So they are here. These people are all here, and records are. I mean, I we've been doing research for 3 years, and I'm still uncovering people claiming to be these personalities, and it's never ending, to be honest. And the number is on the increase. I mean, it's not going down. I mean, we thought like with ChatGPT, with all the AI tools and everything, no, they're still claiming. And for every claimant known, at least I think there's 100 more that we don't. So let's talk about them now. The Messiah complex. We talked about that. Please remember, Messiah complex and Messiah are two different things. Messiah complex is state of mind, is a psychological presentation. So in India, we are starting with Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, and that's 1889. Around about this time, he started making his claims. And in Japan, in Korea, in UK, USA, Russia, I mean, people have been claiming. I didn't put an exhaustive list over here. I mean, there's quite a few people, so obviously you can understand it's not practical to put all of them in here. I just wanted to show you a high level view of how things look. So Mirza Ghulam Ahmad claimed to be 13 plus people in him. 13 plus people. I mean, the count is endless. He literally claimed that he has been given virtually every single Nabi in him. Like it's just insane. And he claims his claims never end. He never stopped. We will look into this later on, but as a matter of reference now, he claimed to be 13 plus persons in him. One person having 13 plus titles, roles, names, all of that. And by reference, you can see in Japan, Matayoshi claimed to be God of the Sun, reincarnation of Christ and Buddha. So this reference is that he wanted to show that he is also Christ and Buddha. This is a crossover sort of a thing because Christianity has no bearing on Buddhism, and Buddhism has no bearing on Christianity. Yet these people claim these crossover personalities, and this is also something that we need to talk about. In fact, in 2025, a hoodied person showed up in Europe claiming to be the Mahdi. You can follow this Mehdi on Instagram. He has an Instagram page, and I'm sure he'll appreciate the likes and share. And this is practically what we're living with. I mean, we're living in 2025, people claiming to be Al Mahdi and revealing themselves in Europe on TV and posting what have you on Instagram and social media. I mean, you can see where this is all going. People are claiming this. And we talked about the pyramids, why they extend all over the planet in different forms, different shapes, different cultures. This is also something very perplexing. However, I have noted a few things, and I need to take your interest on that. No African has claimed to be a Buddha. Interesting, right? I mean, Buddha is we know like Buddhism, it has more coverage on the eastern side. I mean, in Europe, few people obviously, but like it has been more dominated in certain parts of the world over the others. But in Africa, no one has claimed to be a Buddha. Okay, and in Japan, I mean, we saw Christ and Maitri and all that. No one has claimed to be Mahdi. Okay, I mean, why not? Okay, interestingly, no one has claimed to be Prophet Moses. I mean, Judaism, I mean, obviously it's a big thing. Musa alayhi salam is parting of the sea, Allah talking to him, all of that. Like, I mean, it becomes very easy. If you claim to be Musa alayhi salam, you can easily claim Allah speaks with me. But no one has claimed that. So, I mean, there's an extended list of things. The claim pattern is that Jesus is the most common claim. I told you, iPhone 5, iPhone, whatever the current version is, it's always been popular. People want that. That's the phone that they want. Musa alayhi salam, Dawood alayhi salam, rarely claim. Nobody claims it. In fact, I haven't come across a case where they've explicitly been claimed by name and they said, "Oh, I am so and so," because they represent a law or finality. You know, they don't have any role to come and play. There's no prophecy about them. Mahdi is almost exclusively a Muslim thing. No non-Muslim has claimed it. And Buddha appears in often Asian-related things. Yeah. So mixed terms like I'm also Christ, I'm also Mahdi, the one person, and all that. We'll talk about that. These hybrid uh, things. Interestingly, at this point in time, I like to bring up, maybe you have thought about this. Muslims have dreams of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I mean, there is established hadith on it. However, I'm going to contest that on basis of certain things. But have you ever heard of a non-Muslim claiming to have a dream of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Very rarely, or near zero. No Muslim has had a dream of Buddha or Krishna, because our brains project things that we believe. It comes from our inherent belief system. If we don't believe in something, it's not likely to show up in our dreams. And this is something we'll talk about later on when we talk about dreams. So the claim patterns, their cultural familiarity, I told you about that. That they claim figures culturally acceptable. So they will not claim, Buddha in Germany. It's very unlikely. People not going to look at you. And then there's a personal knowledge base. Like as I told you, the mind can only work in certain ways. The information stored is the one that we have dreamt of all kinds of things. We have never dreamt of living on Mars. We've never dreamt of what it's like to walk on Moon, and so on, because that's something we physically have never imagined. So our brains don't have relation to that. And expectation bias, yeah. So people also subconsciously know what figures are expected. So if you want to be a Mahdi, people likely to believe you because they are expecting someone, yeah. And obviously, I have a lot of research in this area. For the compression of time, we don't cover everything in here. So if you want to know why this and why that, why Muslim are only the people claiming to be Mahdi, why Japanese are claiming this, what's the age of the people, why do they have certain inclinations? It's very interesting research. I mean, we can have a session on that. You can post a comment. We'll look at it. I have no problem with it. So the Messianic Gambit, what are they doing? What's their end goal here? What are they playing with? There's the psychology of imposters. They are all imposters, by the way. And so what are they doing? They're running a marketing campaign here. They're not Messiah. I told you, this is a psychological thing. There's no divine validation behind it. And they want to claim this to convince us and themselves, whatever the reasons are. And they are running a marketing campaign. That's why they don't want to go and create another problem and confusion by claiming to be someone else nobody's expecting. So they don't want that. So Isaac, Isaac alayhi salam, no prophecy says he's coming back, so no need to claim him, even though claiming him would automatically give you a lot of benefits. Ismail alayhi salam, who will deny Ismail alayhi salam? What a story. The sacrifice and all that, and Zamzam water. Nobody claims him. Yeah. Interesting, right? And so, they claim to be Jesus, Mehdi, Maitri, Krishna. These are all expected in little sense. Yeah. So don't you see that this is what is going on? They're claiming to be people who are expected. I will challenge, in fact, all of the people who have claimed, they have claimed other things later on. The first claim is always an expected person. Okay. Because they want the least path of resistance. They are cowards. They are liars. All scammers are cowards. They are there to steal things from honest people. So they are cowards, and they don't have the ability to work and earn by themselves. So they want to steal from someone. Stealing is the most heinous thing that you can do, right? And so they want the least path of resistance. They don't want people to resist. So they want to create that as well. So what is going on? So expectation and knowledge is creating the role. It's better if the people are expecting someone but not sure exactly the characteristics. People don't know the hadith. I can come and say, I'm Mehdi. Oh yeah, but they said Mehdi will be from Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's name, and then lineage of Hazrat Fatima. They say, no, she came in my dream and she said, I'm your son. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good enough for me. So because people are not 100% sure, can I walk into somebody's home, knock on the door and say, I'm your landlord, give me rent? They know their landlord. They'll not give me a penny. They'll in fact call the police. And that's because they know. When they don't know, I can fool them. So this is exactly why knowledge is important and investigation is important. We talked about that. So what do? They start with a popular expected figure. And once a base is secured, then they go on to the next level of I'm Maitri, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. But the first claim to hook the fish, is essentially an expected person. So why are they doing that? The main purpose is claim of divinity. especially enlightenment. I'm the chosen one, the Messiah complex, all of those things in there, because they want to exploit followers. Inevitably, they're exploiting them for financial reasons, sexual reasons, and emotional reasons. And I take great care when I use these words in here. I have evidence to back this. Why? Because they want power, they want money, they want status, they want to control the followers. You are no person no more. You are part of their group. Now the group owns you. That's how they take your identity, put another identity on you. You cannot even think out of the group. They control in such ways. And because it's ultimately establishment of a group and a cult, that's what the mentality is, right? Then we look into what are they taking and what are they giving. So they are taking a lot of money, a lot of money. All of them throughout time have taken huge amounts of money. They've taken the families, the kids, generations they have taken, and they've given only smoke, nothing. They have promised you Jannah. When you close your eyes and you're in your grave, you realize, oh my God, this was all a lie. I lost my money, my children stuck in it, and now I'm stuck in here with no way to go back and fix this. And they have told me all these things, and none of them are appearing to be true. Why? Because you didn't investigate, you didn't check the ahadith, you didn't check the Quran, and you would have known. But you fell into the trap of convenience, and that's really what it is. And they're literally giving smoke. They're selling you things that are free. Imagine if all the people listening to this start paying certain people for oxygen they're breathing. Who will do that? Oxygen is free. Allah gave it for free. Allah gave du'as free. You can reach out to Allah anytime. But why do we need to go to them to pay them to make dua for us? So these are things we'll talk about later on. But wake up. Really, it's time to wake up. So let's do some comparison here. Yeah. So the prophets of Allah were sent. They came to guide people to the path of Allah, to get to Allah, to get into Jannah. The path of Allah is for us, so that we make it to Jannah. Now, these prophets have given a book, the Rasuls have given a book, and then they went away. I'll repeat this. They came, they gave the book, and then they went away. Now, these fake people, they come, they put themselves in between the path and the people, move the book to the side, and say, I'm here, follow me now. The original prophet came, gave the book, left. These guys implant cults and groups and people and society and structures so they can control us. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has given us the book. We are just bound by a common thread called Islam. What do we do other than that? We don't. We just pray, we just do our things. And the zakat also comes to our families. If you look at the faraid of zakat, zakat essentially is going to the close ones first. So it's benefiting your own people. And it's also on the basis that you can actually pay zakat. Now, here, these people have come in, they say, no, you cannot read this book. You have to understand what I understand, because I am the one who's been told this information. Now, ayatun bayinat now becomes, oh my God, I can't understand these words. He has to explain this to me. Yeah. Let's move forward. In the interest of time, I'm going to be really quick here. God speaks to me. Right. Who says this? Every single one of them. David Koresh, God told him to unlock the 7 seals. Jim Jones says God spoke to him through him directly. Shoko Asahara, divine instructions from Christ, Shiva, giving him instructions. Joseph Smith, they all claim God spoke to me. God speaks with me. Okay, nice. And promise one. They said, we've been foretold. You know prophecy? It was me. It's about me. Okay, I am the guy. I'm the promised one. I'm the promised one. I am everything. The prophecies are about me, about me. Who says this? Every single one says it. Interesting. Gradual claim. Please remember this. They all start with something small. So David Koresh was a Bible scholar, then becomes Messiah, then becomes a sinful Messiah, then becomes a divine judge. Jim Jones was a civil rights preacher, Christ-like figure, Masile Masih. He was Masile Masih. Just remember this, please. It's going to be very helpful later on. And then he became God incarnate. He was not Christ. He was Christ-like. Shoko Hasara, yoga teacher. So you may go and learn some yoga from him. And then he becomes a Messiah. Nice. Good transition. Then women in marriage. They desire women, but they can't openly ask for it, right? What do? They rebrand it as divine. God told me. In fact, David Koresh could marry any woman on earth. God has made every woman halal for him. In fact, Husband and wife, when they came as followers, he told the husband, "You're no longer associated. This woman is mine now." You can check this. It's all there. Jim Jones, he claimed divine right to sexual relations with any follower he chooses. This is part of ultimate victory for these psycho people. They want to control women. That's what they want to do. They're full misogynist. I mean, they their ultimate aim is in fact to do this. Yeah. So Shoko Asahara, same. I mean, I don't need to go on to this. You can Google and understand that. And then the soul understanding. They say, I can only interpret the revelation. No one can. The meanings are given only to me. I have been told what is right and what is wrong. You know why? Because nobody should challenge them. They can twist the meaning of a table into a chair and then say, no, that it's always been chair. I was just told that. So now the logic will be rewired because they want to do that, right? Us versus them. It all has to be this, us versus them. So they'll say, we are the chosen people. We are going into Jannah. All of them are going to hell. We are the chosen. You know why? Because poor people are very happy with status. Don't give him any money. Just call him sir. He'll be very happy all day. And that's what they are doing, giving you status, which basically translates to nothing. If I give a name of a street in Papua New Guinea behind our Mirza Akram Bhai, and I say there's a street named after Mirza Akram Bhai in Papua New Guinea, how does he benefit? Like how? Like literally what? I mean, to benefit from something, it has to be practical. It just cannot be these hypothetical, metaphorical things. So they give you titles and say, we are the chosen group. What does that even mean, chosen group? Like how? And that's what they do. They say, we are. And that's always been their hallmark. And comes the amazing part. God is helping them in everything. God is helping them in protecting them, defending them, giving them, talking to them, sending angels, sending books. But one thing God won't do, and that's because God doesn't have a bank account, is because God can't give them money. They can't get money from God. It has to be the people who give the money. God will give them life. God will give them wives. God will give them all that. But money, I'm so sorry. This is a no-go zone for us. I mean, how are we going to answer the IRS? How did God send you transfers? It doesn't work, right? So the money has to come from followers. Think about this, guys. God can do everything. Yet God can't give him money. So the money has to come from these poor people. Now look at this. David Koresh, followers give paychecks and inheritance money. Inheritance money? Why are people giving inheritance money? Jim Jones, members to sign over social security checks, savings, and properties. The property you build for your children, now you're going to give it to this Messiah who God has sent. Nice. So God sent without a property. Now this guy has to benefit from somebody else's property. See the dependency in here? Shoko Sahara, followers paid thousands for initiation, water blessings, cleanse, karma. Wealthy recruits were drained of savings in exchange for spiritual rank. Just give them a rank. For the sake of that, you have to pay money. The higher money you pay, the higher the rank you get. Joseph Smith, giving a portion of all their property or a part of it to the church. So why are they on inheritance, property, checks? I mean, at this stage, I could go on. There are a couple of other things I've removed from this list in the interest of time. But I'm just going to stop a moment here and ask this question. Think about this. Who does this sound like? God speaks with me. I'm the promised one, making gradual claims. Masile Masi. Then a woman. God told me I'm going to marry so and so. Soul understanding. Only my understanding of Quran is right. Everything else is wrong. Us versus them. My Jamaat is going to go to Jannah. Give me money, give me chanda, give me wasiyat. Who talks like this? I'm only talking here about David Koresh and Jim Jones. Does that ring a bell to you about somebody? Think about that. It's a moment to think. Hidden meaning versus unable to understand. This is very important. I wanted to spend a couple of moments on this one because they are really, really important. All the other ones are as well, so I'm going to cover them in the later episodes, but this one I think right now is important. This is a METAR. If you don't know what it is, I'll tell you. Anyone who's into flying aviation, they will know this in a second. It's Echo Golf Lima Lima. This is London Heathrow, the airport, the time and the winds, the visibility and everything is all in here. I can just look at it and I understand what it is. Anyone who's into flying will understand this. Does that mean the entire thing was hidden? No, it's not hidden. It's all there. It's just that you need to have knowledge to understand it. Because I've been flying, I know this is easy for me to understand. If you are flying, you'll understand it. Which basically means the meaning was hidden is an accusation on God. It suggests a deliberate act. Hiding means there's somebody who did it on purpose. It's concealment by God. I mean, God gave us a book and hide the meaning for 14 centuries. People were dying in the name of God, believing in Him, and He was not even forthcoming to tell what it is until one person shows up. You really think that's happening? On the other hand, if the meaning was there and you don't have the knowledge to understand it, it basically means it's accessible to you. You just don't have the desired or the required expertise, such like computer programming. A computer is in front of you. Can you code an application? No, but somebody who's taken a course can. This is a very important part that you need to understand. It's called the cultic. You know, essentially, esotericism is a control tactic. Whenever you say only I understand, you are doing something to the people psychologically. So in religion is exoteric, which means the religion says everything is open, you can understand it, you can reach out to God. The text is very clear, ayatun bayinat. The laws are all objective, everything is clear. There's nothing hidden, nothing what if trial and error based, right? In cults, in the groups, they say it's esoteric, which means it has to go to one person who understands it. Why do we need to go to him? And how did he get all this knowledge? Because God is unfair? Hidden. They say it's hidden because God chooses this person. So why we are not chosen then? Like, what makes him special? Like, what exactly is special about this one person? Let's ask that question. If God created me and you and created this person and made him on our heads, and he's not even a Nabi or a Rasul, then why is he special? Wasjud waqtarib. Allah said, you do more, you come closer. So if I studied Quran, I still won't understand it. It's like a woman, a mother, having 5 kids, and 4 kids are hungry. She's hiding the food for one child. Is that mother a fair mother, you think? So this is a tactic. This has nothing to do with God. God is not unfair. Alaysa Allahu bihkamil hakimin. Allah is fair. Allah is adil. Allah loves truth. Allah is haq. And this is very important for us. When we are talking this language, the what becomes the who. The what becomes the who, right? And the truth is no longer what is the truth, is who holds the key to the truth. So the truth is not truth anymore. It's this person who's telling us what it is. And faith is a transaction now. Instead of a personal connection with God, the personal connection is now with the human interpreter. So the human interpreter is sitting in between, which basically means, I will give you this as an example here. This book becomes this person, right? So the message becomes the messenger. What God says becomes what the leader says God means. And fear of God becomes fear of the group. The hidden meaning, esotericism, is essentially leading for this. You made an accusation of God for being unfair, and you've just put this one guy in the picture, say everything is you now. All the autonomy, all the independence, all the freedom God gave us is gone now, because we are now believing this one person knows everything. Subhanallah. And you don't even know what you've just done. When you accepted to replace the hidden, the revealed to hidden, you just replace divine to a human. It's automatic, it's right away. The moment you said this was hidden, you've lost your connection to God. Now a human is going to control your life. You've just signed your papers to the house, your life, everything to one person now. That person will decide your future. It's not an opinion, guys, really. It's not a matter of taking it easy. When Allah Rabbul Izzat in Yawm al-Qiyamah will ask, you will have no answer left that day. You made a massive accusation on Allah for being unfair. So hidden meaning, or only I know the truth, is a control tactic. We talked about that. It's a control tactic. So what is happening now? It creates exclusivity, creates dependence. It becomes more authoritative. So you need, you get the drift in here. So I'm not going to read all of them. You can take a screenshot. But the bottom line is, it's a control tactic. It's nothing else. Hidden meaning means you always go back to them. They just rewired it, discourage you from understanding. They just blocked your brains. In fact, they have just, frozen your ability to think. I mean, Joseph's been done the same. He said that the Book of Mormon restored hidden knowledge and the lost truths, subhanallah. Yeah. So he said that he could only receive and understand the divine revelation. Interesting. Baha'u'llah said the same things. You know, he could unlock the true meanings of prophecies. Only he could. Only he could. You need to read about this. I mean, I'm not saying good or bad or right or wrong, but this is what they claim. Anyway, no true prophet has said the meanings were hidden. No one has said that. So just remember, by comparison, no true prophet of Allah has said that. And again, we're going back to the messianic claimants here. Yeah, the common traits. Their ages are 30 to 50 when they're making these claims. We'll talk about that. Their early identities are very mild. They're reformers, preachers, and so on. Education, they never take a formal education. It's always self-taught or semi-educated, if you will. Spiritually, they're very confused. They're overactive imagination, basically. And they don't like the clergy. They don't like the establishment. They don't like the religious establishment. And then they want to redefine sacred terms on their own way of. That's why the hidden meaning really works for them. The financial dependence. I told you, God doesn't have a bank account, so no money is coming from the sky. So you have to get it from people. So they need money from people, and they're always afraid of being harmed or killed. Now God won't protect them. God will say everything, but won't give money or won't protect. That's interesting, right? Other common traits: isolated early environments. They live very lonely lives mostly. Yeah. Emotional void. The relationship to father is always questionable. Most of them are. I have found one, two examples where the relationship was pretty decent, but not exceptional. So I don't know if it's a factor, but in most cases, I found that the relationship with father is a question. Intense spiritual, intellectual focus from a young age. I mean, you can let your mind wander, and that's something you can do. It's very easy. It doesn't show divinity; it just shows that you have too much time on your hands, and they're very confused. And they also have physical disabilities oftentimes. So it's a somatopsychic kind of influence in the mix as well. I mean, these are factors that I have noted through my research, but there are quite a few of them others that really, like relationship with their wives and so on. We we don't need to talk about that at this stage because there is a topic on that. We'll talk about that when we come to it. The other factors I talked to you about, age is important because 20 to 30 would make the person sort of emotional or naive. So 50 plus is like obviously old. So 30 to 40 looks pretty good for reason. They look they're passionate speakers and so on and so forth. So that will make them a magnet for people. So you'll find people claiming around this age for that reason. And it's very interesting when you look at that. Now, I needed to cover this point in here, ideally, because deep isolation and resentment, there's an anger built in. When you're isolated, you're always angry. And they need to prove themselves. And obviously, they're not good at anything. So that's also a problem. They study religion, so their mind's wandering around. They don't like certain things. So it's kind of all of that coming together, yeah? So in a psychological, inward movement, grandiosity kicks in, and then Messiah complex kicks in, and they say, "Yeah, I mean, I was built for this. This is what God made me for." You fail in an exam. You don't think you're bad in an exam. You think God chose me for becoming a janitor. Subhanallah. That's how the thinking works, right? So it manifests itself as a entitlement. No, I'm built for something else, and it's very normal. I mean, I have done a ton of research on this, spoken to a lot of psychologists, and so I have a research in this area as well. But interestingly, they will all come together eventually. So I'm not going to do that here now. So I think it's very important to touch on this, that where there are false prophets, there are also true prophets. And we will have a session, inshallah, on Dalail al-Nubuwah with one of my absolute favorite Shaykh. I absolutely love this man's work. I mean, I honestly think he has done a phenomenal job, and he has agreed to come and speak on Dalail Khatm al-Nubuwah. And not Khatm al-Nubuwah particularly on that sense, but Dalail al-Nubuwah, which means the evidence of being a prophet. It's amazing, wallah. When I heard it, there's six of them. In fact, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Ali don't even achieve like three of them. It's subhanallah that specific, and it's very, very, very important. So we're going to talk about that. So the real prophethood, the character is obviously number one. Yeah, character, which means your relationships, your dealings with people, your financial oversight, how you handle that amanat and everything else. This comes in character. Endorsement by Allah. It's not self-proclaimed. Allah will endorse them. Not just that Allah came in my dream and said it. It's different. We talk about that. And one clear, decisive message. Please remember, no gradual build-up. It's not Masih Masih and then become Masih. They say I'm Rasulullah. That's it. One day, one shot. That's it. No more. No back and forth. They don't reverse. They don't say, okay, I'm so sorry I upset you. I'm gonna not call myself a prophet. I'll be fine now. No. They never claim to be anyone else. They never take anybody else's name on them. Never. Their name, they stay with it. Whatever their name is. Musa alayhi salam will always be Musa alayhi salam. He will not say I'm Krishna. Never. The real prophet of God, they always say one thing and they stick with it. These are big signs, yeah? Don't forget them. They bring clear signs with them. Not like my name, words have added up to 13, so it's 13th century, and all of this, the fish, the sky, and the dinosaurs, nothing of that sort, yeah? Matching previous scriptures. So the previous scriptures, Elohim Muhammadim, in the Bible, in Hebrew, there's mention of it. So there will be mention of things. And no contradictions. When they say, they say. It will always add up. It's very clear, transparent. And miracles. Allah will give the miracles when people demand and ask. And this is Allah's choice. And there are miracles associated to prophets. And this is by Allah's permission. And so these are some of the things. These are not, again, Dalail al-Nubuwah. This is characteristics generally noted. So when you compare them to the David Koreshes and Mirza Ghulam Ahmad and all of that, you can instantly find the difference. The gradualism there, yeah? Mehdi then becomes Mujaddid, then becomes this, then becomes a U-turn, then becomes this. They do this all the time. Not one claim. Only on this one point you can see the difference. Okay, we will also talk about this. There have been 120,000 prophets, and we only know a few by name. Why? Did Allah forget to mention them? Astaghfirullah. Or were they insignificant? They were not recorded enough? Or the other prophets who came later were more important? No, sorry. Their mission was completed and they're gone. Allah doesn't create a system by which you will keep remembering. Adam alayhi salam was remembered because he is our father. The rest of them, Allah chose who we need to remember. The rest we don't need to remember. We don't need to go looking, oh, maybe Rama is next prophet. Oh, no. I think maybe this guy was maybe. We don't need to speculate. That's not our business. It doesn't help our cause. When we are dead in the grave and in Yawm al-Qiyamah, it's not going to help us. This investigation is useless for us. Basically, they never had to build a legacy. The prophets don't do that. They're not here to create a structure and put their kids and so on. So no true prophet of Allah has established a self-perpetuating financial system. So their family, Itrat Ahlul Bayt, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. He didn't say, now Ahlul Bayt is here, give them money, do bay'ah to them, build them a house, call them Huzur. No, no. Itra. This hadith will come to it, we'll talk about it. Allah's prophets have come and they've gone. And they did. When we talk about Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we say what? We say Nasahta al-Ummah, guided the Ummah, Addayt al-Amana, delivered the message to us. That's what they're here for. And that's what they do, and then they leave. Their children do the same. So life cycle of messianic groups, this is important, very important to understand. I'll be very quick on this one. Claimants, let's divide this. This is very interesting. I'll hopefully, if there's enough demand for this, I'll do this episode. But for me, it was very interesting. So if we divide the earth into two parts, the messianic claimants of northern hemisphere follow a charismatic model. So no matter how successful the Messiah is, his children will not become Gaddi Nashin and all that. That doesn't happen in northern part. It happens here. The silsila, the karamat model, taking one glass of water from the river and drying the river up and flying in the air, walking on clouds. I mean, all that stuff is here. And people go demanding this from the Shaikh, and Shaikh will perform all those amazing feats, So this is very interesting because the different Messiah variations, the nuances are all there. And that's because of the psychological phenomenon. Here, it's more silsila based. So they'll say, I'm so-and-so's son in my dream or whatever. All of that. It's very interesting. Why I'm saying this is because you should know that we have covered a lot of details in here, not just the ones you're seeing. Okay. So these guys are essentially just balloons, party balloons. No air, nothing, no shape. As they get air, which is their followers, validation, and money, the balloon starts to inflate. and takes a shape. So they need followers to lead, and then the followers become their heir. As I mentioned to you, they'll start growing then, and then they want more validation, so they will spread false stories. This has always been the case. We talked about storytelling. Oh man, the stories you have to hear about them. You know, guys getting all kinds of trouble, and they just call the sheikh, and then the ship just reaches the shore in 1 minute. I mean, I don't know like where they come up, where they go to find these stories, but they have these phenomenal stories, and the recognition and all of that. So this is a marketing tool. We'll talk about that when we come to followers. Why we particularly believe in certain way. This is interesting. So there are 5 stages of this groups. So one is the early stage in which they have no shape, nothing. Then they go into the first, second, third stage, and the final stage where they're maximum size, and then they burst. They always burst. Um, the early stage is the empty balloon stage. In this one, they will say, God speaks with me. Now, this is, this is the stage at which they made a little name for themselves, and now they need to get some people's attention and say, God speaks with me. So people always fall for this, right? And the tactic is personal revelations and visions and hidden knowledge and all of that. I had a vision, I had this ru'ya, kashaf. I mean, I don't know what they talk about. I mean, we talk about, when we come to Sufis, and we'll talk about all these things, really interesting stuff. And then Mirza's ilhams, Jim Jones' special gifts and all that. This is an initial stage. This is where they are, cleaning up the ground to start laying the foundation. So it creates that seed of authority, right? And then the next one is a little bit inflation. Little air comes in. People start following. So partially inflated balloon. And then they say, the world is opposing me because I'm true. Really? So if we are against people polluting the rivers, means they are good people. They're killing animals. That's an awesome job they are doing. So we are against them because they're good. Opposition does not automatically make you amazing. It's like saying the police catches innocent people, so everyone the police catches is innocent. What kind of logic is this? Anyway, they will poke fights. They will go deliberately and start a fight. People don't want to fight them, and they'll go instigate a fight, and then they say, "See, the fight happened. I won the fight. I defeated him." This is all part of the game, right? And this is not only one person. Everyone does the same. And Mirza's example, doing debates, Koresh versus law enforcement, he kept poking the law, David Koresh. And ultimately, you know what happened. Waco, Texas, just Google it. There's tons of videos on it. Um, so the lesson is the conflict is publicity, oxygen to grow. They need conflict. They need to be controversial. And this is important for them because that's how they're building the followers. Nobody's paying money at this stage. Just remember that. Now they come to a balloon which is rising. And now we say we need our own space because these people are against us. We need our own sanctity. We need to protect ourselves. We need to form a group. We need to do whatever. So then they can establish a community compound, identity. They will have inner circle people, outer circle people. They might even refuse some people from joining the group at this stage, right? Just to create that impression that not everybody is welcome. So the people who are chosen are really amazing. And the people they are refusing are all juniors, like people they don't even need. So they will selectively refuse people, say, no, I don't want this guy. Bernie Madoff used to do that. So, I mean, this is a tactic. This is not like that person is not genuine. They will do this regularly. Yeah. And so Mirza wanted a Qadian, Jamestown for Jim Jones, Mount Carmel for Koresh. I mean, they need territory because territory gives more power because people will be evicted from some place. So they have a belonging. So it's permanence. It's part of that. It's all. I mean, I could go on this topic, but I'm not going to because it's not enough time. But believe me, each of these stages are very, very important to study as well. We go to the fully inflated, overinflated balloon. Now this balloon is really, really getting to its maximum envelope, right? And so now what do they need? They got people, they got a place, they got an identity, they got a group. Now they need money. Without money, nothing works. We know this. So they need money. God can't pay them. Right? I told you there's no bank account for God. So now you must sacrifice everything for the cause. Oh, okay, really? I have to sacrifice everything now? Yeah, you have to because you're a believer. I chose you. Wow, interesting. So the financial obligations start falling. They will put more stricter controls. There will be layers of people. People will get titles. The older people will get more prominent titles. They will be given more rewards. So people will see them as now they're structuring it. They're layering it. And Mirza's Chanda Wasiyat system, the wages property system for Jones, Koresh, and so on. This is all happening at this stage now because they say our group needs money, and who? The poor people have to give money because God won't give, right? Obviously, so they need that, and they need an organization to channel the money, and so there is a way the river flows. So yeah, so the lesson is the survival depends on constant inflow of money and devotion. So devotion, the more it is, the more money comes in. The poor people need what? Salvation, and they know that they've been told God is not looking at them, only this guy's been spoken to. So it's complicated. It works in that very weird way. Then obviously you come to the birth stage. I mean, obviously everybody bursts, but you'll say, oh, I survived for longer. No, there's two different things. There's explosion and implosion. Explosion is when David Koresh people, they're young, they're in the West, they have access to arms and ammunition, they go against the law, they get like halaj and all of that. Obviously halaj is a different case, but when they go against that, I have covered this towards in the end one of the episodes, so I'm not going to talk about that now. But they eventually get into the crosshairs of the law, and they get into trouble, and then things go down. But if the person is old, or they have some kind of understanding with the prevailing law system, they don't want to play games with them and so on, and they kind of make their way, weasel their way into things, then they survive. And few generations down, the people start losing faith. They start discovering the truth, and they say, sorry, I'm not going to be part of this. That's when they implode. When the people start leaving, that's why they need to keep bringing new people in, because older people are leaving, and they want to minimize that damage. So we'll talk about that again later on in the cult dynamics. There's a section on that. So the fact is, the the so-called person is in the center with a circle around him showing the circle his family and so on, and then common people, the followers. So the sacrifice, they will make absolutely a minimum of it. Minimum of it. They will not even stop eating the food they are eating. The maximum sacrifice goes on the common people. Yeah, it's interesting, right? In the faith department, they have very little faith. Trust me, they don't have any faith. You'll find them doing all kinds of weird things. It's the people at the bottom who are supposed to have the maximum faith, the most devotion. You'll see if you watch any of these fake guys' videos, you'll find him sitting over there on that massive chair, talking like everything is going on in his favor, and the people around just looking in awe. That's interesting. Luxury, they live the maximum luxury, whereas the people will suffer the most. So you see, in two departments, the maximum comes only in the luxury department. His children will be absolutely, the cost of his bathroom will be the cost of somebody's life. That's pretty much how it works out. In always every single case is the same. You don't need to believe me, just look around, you'll find it. So the question is, why do people follow? Come on, man, why are you following? It's last parts of the slide, so I'm going to be little cautious in here to give you this idea, because we will cover it later on as well. Imagine a self-driving car in, let's say, 1800, 50, 1800, whatever, India, colonial time. What do you think people are going to say? The car is driving by itself, it is fully air conditioned, it has this phenomenal metallic color on it, nothing like people have seen. What do you think people are going to say? They're going to say jinn, magic, muwakkil, karamat. You know why? Because we cannot explain a phenomenon we don't understand without digging into the available cultural information we have. If you've heard Chudail stories as a child, that's what you're going to come out with. Our education, buri, I'm digressing into Urdu as well, like the badru and all of that, these phenomenons of evil spirits and all that. So that basically works in the psyche of a person, and that's how they interpret things. They're not going to think this is technologically advanced product. It has been developed using engineering that has not been known at the time, and so on. They're going to go back to what they know best. And this is why supernatural events, ilhams and all that work really well with this kind of people. I'm going to take this example just for the sake of fun. If we put Alexa in between the people there, what do you think is going to happen? There's a voice of a woman coming and telling all kinds of things. Chudail, man, right away. And what else? Somebody's ruh has come in here, everything. And people are going to run away from it. People are not even going to touch it. They're going to get even maybe, some priest to come and bless this area after this thing has been removed. So, but it's Alexa, end of the day. Most homes have it. I don't, but people have it. I've seen it. So the first reaction is fear, obviously, shock, and it becomes over impressive. So when you come off the shock stage, you are super impressed. Like you come into this place where you're, my God, that's amazing. Why? Because low knowledge means high surprise. High surprise means high emotional response, and high emotional response means exaggerated impression or over impressed. So if you don't want to be over impressed with something, you have to have knowledge of it. Like, I mean, I think I'm not a cricket fan as much, but I enjoyed watching it for some time. And I think in spin department, because I only know like spin a little bit technically as well. I think the most amazing spins were by Shane Warne. I always enjoyed watching Shane Warne spins. Like for a cricketer, okay, it's amazing, but he's not as impressed as I am because I don't know how he does it. I just see the ball touching and turning like it's a guided missile. I mean, it's just insane, yeah. So knowledge, if you don't have it, you will be impressed more and more. So you should have knowledge. Iqra. Allah said read, but we don't read, but we get impressed. So these people feed on that. And how do they do it? I'm just going to cover it very quickly. The second part is every messianic or totalistic movement, they control us, their people rather, with three broad principles or the pillars. Yeah, one is information, what you can see, read, who you watch, what you can listen. They say, no, don't do it. In Islam, "Qul hatu burhanakum in kuntum sadiqin." Very clear. You have something, bring it. We'll talk. We have no issues with it. I have studied Shinto. I have studied all of that. I've spoken to shamans. I've spoken to a lot of people. In fact, I don't want to get into the extensive part of it. I spent a lot of time with Buddhist people. I really enjoyed my conversations with them. Never had an issue. And that's because my religion doesn't, it just says, Lakum dinukum waliya din, but knowledge is not something I am supposed to run away from. But these people will tell you to avoid listening to anyone else. In fact, they go all out assaults on people they are critical of. That's crazy. And behavior control, yeah, what you can do or spend. We are like this, our group is like, because they want to show a uniformity. Islam has principles. It doesn't govern. I can wear anything I want as long as it's within the modesty level, yeah. Islam doesn't say you wear a certain type of cloth, only the ladies wear this and the man wear the green and this. No, we don't have such controls. That's because they want to make you a rubber stamp, essentially, yeah. Thought control, what you can think or ask questions. I have a section on this to talk about that. By allowing you to address certain people in certain ways, they're stifling you from asking more questions, subduing you before you even say a word. So they control people. They're essentially about controlling people. So they know you have superstitious minds. They'll give you all the superstitions, and then they will tell you you don't understand the meaning because I understand the meaning. God listens to me, not to you. And if you disobey me, you're going to die. You're going to lose your job or child. Things like that. So all of that works. The psyche of it, yeah. Because if you look at the knife in the hand of a master chef, in the hand of a child, in the hand of a criminal, the master chef will give you a fantastic, beautiful dish. You can take a picture and post it on social media. The child is going to harm himself or possibly you as well. Whereas in the hand of a criminal, you're likely to encounter serious problems. So you might as well run. It's the same knife. The knife doesn't do anything. It's the person who holds a knife uses it for a purpose. Why am I saying this? It's because these books of God, these holy books, these scriptures, in the hand of a sheikh and in the hand of a fake person, in the hand of a sheikh, a real sheikh, a person who knows information and is there to guide you, is going to guide you. These people will hold you using the same verses. In fact, the sheikh might not read very eloquently. He may forget certain names. He may forget some ahadith. He may misinterpret sometimes. He may not remember all the meanings. But his intention is pure to help you. He's a human. He will make mistakes. These guys will lock you in. They will use names, Ibn Taymiyyah, brother, Hajar al Asqalani. If they need to use, they will use Family Guy and Homer Simpson. They will use anyone as long as they need to get away with it. That's because all of this literature, they don't understand it. They practice the scripts to control you. So when you go to them, they will talk to you as if they know everything. And because we don't have the ability to question them, we only ask and they give us any kind of reason, and we walk away with, okay, perfect, we understood everything. They control us. Now, when we look at this other part of it, which is how they do this, I'll give you this. We're going to talk about this later on, But in here, just to touch base, this is how they prove their points. The Messiah has come. So they will go cut one thing out with the word the, and Messiah from somewhere, has from somewhere, come from somewhere, and then they will put all together and say, oh, see, the Messiah has come from the Quran, from Hadith. See, this all there. But have you read the Surah Al-Jumu'ah ayat? Yeah, this one. Oh yeah, the Hadith about Salman al-Farisi. Yeah, here. See, he had a dream. He was a Farsi. So 2 plus 2 plus 2. That's how it is. It's not consistent because they know you're not going to read so much. I told you they have a script. They will keep talking to you about the script. The Mahdi has come. Okay, Mahdi has gone. I'm supposed to follow Mahdi. I'm not supposed to follow his kids. Who said that? Where is the hadith about following Mahdi's children? Mahdi will come. He will fight. We'll go fight with him. Okay, bring the Mahdi. We'll go. But he's not here now. I'm supposed to pay my money because Mahdi has come 100 years ago. How does that make any sense? And that's because they actively blur the line between truth and false. So you don't understand what's truth and what's false anymore. And they imitate the structure of legitimate religions. They will have 313 Sahaba, Ummahatul Mu'mineen, this. And that's because it sounds very religious like, yeah? It's an iPhone, but it's not an iPhone. That's pretty much it. I'm promoting iPhone way too much. I actually don't use it. So that's one disclaimer. I'm not promoting out of commercial interest. It's just matter of, just a thing that came out. They will have leaders, elders, guides, committees. They look very organized from the outside because we humans are impressed with organization. We're absolutely impressed with it. And that's what they know. Because ultimately they have to keep the followers locked in. The longer you believe, the longer they're good. And that's pretty much what it is. So in conclusion, I'm just going to run through the last 3-4 slides of mine. And I'm asking a question. Please be honest to yourself and answer this question. After having heard all of that, do you think they are by God? Did God send these people? Did God really speak with them? Told them you can marry any woman you want? Sanctioned a marriage to a woman. The woman refused the marriage, yet the person will chase him. Mumadi Begum, I'm talking about here. Printing announcements in papers, dishonoring this woman in very weird ways. This is how people of God behave. Asking for chanda, wasiyat and all that. Which prophet has done this? Because there's no prophet, no religion who has asked for a will, inheritance, a percentage, part of it. No religion has done it. Not even shamanism. Donations, yes. Inheritance, no. Zakat is about people who can afford to pay, and even they are free to pay to who they want to pay. There's no compulsion on it to pay a specific group. And have you seen any religion or prophet that claim they can understand the hidden meanings? That's an accusation or a lie. We talked about that. So there'll be questions asked Yawm al-Qiyamah, for sure. Surah Al-Mulk talked about it. Alam yatikum nazir will be asked. Even this is not a question from God. It's a question from the guard who's going to throw the person in hell. And while they're being thrown in hell, that guard is asking, what's wrong with you people? In a way, that guard is like amazed that you are going in this hell. A warner didn't come to you guys. What really went wrong with you? So are you prepared? I'm asking you a few questions. There's a list of questions we'll ask later on. This is my last slide. So this is not the image of that. It's just a depiction. So don't bother too much on it. If the Prophet ﷺ clearly named Isa ibn Maryam as the one who will descend, how did you follow someone else? Because that someone else said that? That's a good reason, you think? Oh, he said that. No, he's not coming. I'm here. Oh, he's dead. He's in Kashmir. All right, brilliant. He's in Kashmir. Said Omar didn't know that. But he did. Gandhi Sahib did. I don't care what Gandhi Sahib thinks. Honestly, I mean, with all due respect, I do listen to him on and off. I'm not going on him. My religion is not based on people's opinions and narratives and perceptions. If I did that, they will not be in my grave and my qiyamah will be finished. I have to go with what Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told me. That's enough for me. I am not inquisitive enough to know all these things. I don't really need it. So where did you get this? When you were told that the fake Clements will come, why didn't you check thoroughly? Why did you not check thoroughly? Did you not find enough time? Were you that busy? Or your grandparents had done all the work, so you said, oh, that's amazing. Only I have to follow now. Oh, Mehdi has come, brilliant. Oh, Isa alayhi salam is dead. Beautiful, he's dead. Where's your instinct? If I tell you to give me your password or give me your bank account details, would you give it to me? You'll ask me 50 questions. And that's because you're protecting money, which you can always get. Here, you're losing your dunya over small claims of people. And oh, no, that's convenient, right? It was very convincing to me. Interesting. When in Islam, there is no Messiah, how do you accept one? We have Al Masih. We don't have a Messiah. They keep saying, promise Messiah, promise Messiah. Okay, then establish your own group and establish your own religion. In Islam, there is no Messiah. Is Masih. How many times you talk about this? Where in Islam did it say that a Mahdi and Messiah will come and they'll establish a Khilafat? Now their children will be sitting over there making all kinds of ludicrous statements, can't even read Quran, and we have to follow them. Where does it say that? Really, don't answer us. Answer to your own inner self, inside your chest. Look at the sky, to Allah who created you, to whom we're going to return. Look at the sky and say, Ya Allah, I have followed them because I didn't even have the courage to look at the literature. Because I was too busy paying chanda and wasiyat, and my children are doing the same. They're lying to you and you don't understand that. It's a bit emotional. That's because I do speak to people and talk to them about this, and I understand what they're going through. It's as they say, it's wadah. It's very clear. It's there, and you don't see it. Like, it's very difficult to understand a grown-up person not in a position to study or understand. It's my last slide of the day, and this is our upcoming next episode. As you've seen, we've done 2 episodes on cognitive basic rules, rationalism, and so on and so forth. So you understand things, how things should be. We talked today about the messiahs, the false messiahs, and we talked about majority of them, how they behave, and so on. And we talked about a little comparison here and there to show you what it is. Our upcoming episode is going to be full-blown surgery on Mirza Sahib. We are going to go very deep into it. We are going to look at it from his literature only, not any other literature. It will be only his literature. And we're going to construct his life through CCTV cameras. We are going to go into every single small detail, every single large detail, connect all the dots together. It's going to be specifically focused on Mirza Sahib. And we will reveal, inshallah, to you all the things you knew and all the things you didn't know in a very constructed, well mannered, hopefully, a very civil discussion. And the aim for us really is to bring to your attention the important aspects of this religion of Islam, so that we don't mock it, we don't just take things for granted, because our dunya is only one time and our akhirah is forever. So to protect the forever, that's what we're trying to do. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening to us. We don't intend to hurt anybody's feelings. Sometimes when we speak, it may hurt you. It's understandable. We fully understand that. And wallahi, we really want nothing except the good for you. We're not even fighting for a group. We don't have a group. We're not fighting for our cause. We don't have a Chanda Wasiyat book. We're just trying to give you the information you probably didn't look at. And with that, I'd like to end by making a small dua that Allah open our hearts to His deen. And since you know Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ya Allah, give them the true love of this Prophet of Allah, our last Prophet of Allah, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.